I like to live in a world that is mandated by the arts, right? That policy leans on the arts to infiltrate the city. Thank you so much, Ade, for having me. And thank you for doing this work. So Porsha, Olayiwola, she, her, hers, poet, educator, curator, Afrofuturist, Afro-pessimist enthusiast, and also currently serving as the Poet Laureate for the city of Boston.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And as far as my work, I'm constantly thinking about the poetics centering the Black diaspora and queer intimacy. So that's where most of my work lies, as well as a lot of community organizing.
What's your sense of the progress that's been made, especially in terms of your own creative journey?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I mean, there's definitely been quote unquote progress, right? Or rather the time and the landscape in which we exist in is a little bit different, right? And so we're not necessarily facing the same things. But I do feel like there has been recently, at least in the city of Boston, an embrace of artists. And a lot of that can be, I think, attributed to the infrastructure of who's running the city, the funds associated with that. So I think it's been on the rise. But I think when I first moved here, a lot of artists were kind of upset, or they all had the idea that in order to be a successful artist from Boston, they would need to leave Boston.
So it's
very much so,
like Phillis.
Very much so. And I think now it's shifted. I will say it's shifted just a bit. So.
Okay. In your work, the work you've just described, it's about reimagining African American history. How important is that as a theme or a thread in your work generally?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It becomes imperative. It becomes necessary. I just read this book by Christina Sharp called Ordinary Notes.
Oh.
But she has this note that spectacle is not repair. And so I've been really holding on to that and thinking about.
What does that mean to you?
I know. What does that mean, right? Because for me in my work, I'm constantly exploring history and sites of trauma throughout the Black diaspora. And so for me, it's not enough to just tell the story. I need to do more, right? I need to reimagine the story or reimagine what a victory looks like.
Whose feet do you feel you're walking in as an artist?
I think so many.
Yeah.
Definitely Phillis Wheatley. Being the Poet Laureate for the city of Boston, being a Black woman poet, I think it's only natural and necessary that we align. I find myself leaning a lot on Audre Lorde. I find myself leaning a lot on Toni Morrison, Zora Neale Hurston, and the use of one's own authentic voice feels imperative.
Tell us about Phillis Week coming up, I think in September.
Again, I've been organizing this week, this Memorial Week, around her 250th anniversary of the publication of her first collection.
Which was September, so your week is in...
It's that first week in September.
Brilliant.
And I think, one, I felt called to do it because, again, being in this role of the laureate and, again, a Black woman, it almost felt that, she singled me out, and so to speak. And I think I've been writing about her for the last couple of years. She's kind of been calling to me. And so when I realized we were on the 250th anniversary, I felt compelled. I felt
absolutely
like if I didn't do this work, who would I be? Who would I be? Would I be who I say I am or who I think I am? And so in any case, it's a week-long celebration that aligns with the publication of the book, planning several events, some youth events in partnership with Emerson. We're doing kind of like a deep dive into the poetics and like what did her poetics mean, and were there elements of resistance in the poetics? Right now,
big issue.
Yeah, right. Because I think people talk a lot about that, but don't necessarily think that she went there.
Absolutely.
But if you look at the poetics, right?
And read between the lines, because we've got to remember she was an enslaved woman.
Exactly.
Her audience was almost exclusively white.
Exactly.
So she spoke her truth and she found ways to navigate all of those obstacles.
Yeah, and if we think about things like the sonnet, and the sonnet having the volta, the turn at the end, the space for something to be different, I feel like Wheatley really utilized that. And then one event that I'm super excited about is really like centering her pleasures and the things that maybe gave her joy. So right now we're doing a lot of research to kind of figure out what were those things, but I'm partnering with Comfort Kitchen, who's gonna do kind of a dinner that centers what she might have ate or what she might have enjoyed eating. So I'm really excited.
Amazing. In the work you do, we've said that there's still obstacles. How is it that you forge ahead, you know, and you've achieved so much in such a short space of time? What gives you the drive? What keeps you going?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. What keeps me going in the face of, I think I have no choice, you know? I either do or I don't, you know what I mean? I either do, the work gets done, or I am not fulfilling what I need to fulfill for myself.
So it's a sense of your mission.
It's a sense of my mission. It's a sense of like, what else would I be doing if I wasn't doing this? And I think also, you asked this question earlier around whether or not Boston has changed or shifted when it comes to Black artists, but I do feel like I have been able to grab a lot of support from the city, given the role that I'm in.
Great.
And so my goal is to like capitalize on it until I can't.
And you brought lots of people with you. The partnerships you've described are all about embracing others and helping them rise up as you rise.
Yeah, it's been exciting, especially to work with an array of artists and to like pay folks what they deserve to be paid.
Yeah, that's a big issue. That's a big issue. I know you have many projects, but there's one in particular. I wondered if you'd mind telling us a little bit about a very exciting new development.
Yes. So I'm opening up a bookstore with Bing Broderick and Phil's Corner, right outside the Phil's Corner tea stop.
In Dorchester.
In Dorchester. And it'll be a very small space, highly curated book list, but I think the soul of the bookstore will be the programming, the events, the gathering of humans, the gathering of local artists and local writers. So
that sounds exciting. And when do we think it might open?
Fall 2023.
50 years from now, what do you hope will be the scene here in terms of the arts?
I mean, I'd like to live in a world that is mandated by the arts, right? That policy leans on the arts to infiltrate the city, right? That politicians learn from artists, that art is everywhere. I used to spend a lot of time in Brazil, but there are like, murals everywhere. And I would like drive through the city and I'm like, where are the murals? And they've increased, which has been really exciting. But I would like to see it absolutely everywhere. Hi, my name is Porsha Olayiwola. This is Phillis Wheatley 250, Phillis Forever.